This video will discuss the basic concepts for list creation and management. I'm going to activate the Dynamo window and search for the number sequence component. The number sequence component will generate a list of numbers. Within this component there are inputs for start value, end value, and step size. The output is a list of numbers. I now need to create some number inputs. In the search menu, I'm going to search for the number component. I'm going to connect the number component into the start input. I can Control-C and Control-V to copy and paste the number input. After changing the value to 10, I'm going to connect it into the end input. I'm going to copy and paste it again, and this time change the number to 1 and connect it in for the step. To view the sequence, I need to find a watch component. I'm going to connect the number sequence into watch. In the lower left hand corner, I'm going to click the run button so I can view the sequence of numbers. If I change the value of one of my numbers, I can rerun the definition to see the impact on the overall sequence. I'm going to delete one of the numbers and replace the number with a slider. I'm going to modify the slider constraints to be between 0 and 10. I'm now going to connect the slider in to the end input. I'm going to set the definition to run automatically. Now when I move the slider, I can see the impact on the slider value on the overall list. I now want to use the sequence of numbers to control something geometric. I'm going to search for the XYZ component and place it on the canvas. I'm going to use a single item number value to control the Y and Z values of the XYZ component. I can now connect my number sequence in for the X value. In order to see the XYZ values, I'm going to find the Watch 3D component. I'm going to connect the XYZ values into Watch 3D. From here you can see that a list of points has been generated along the X-axis. After adjusting my number slider, I can see that more or fewer points are being created based on this parameter. Another very important concept when dealing with lists is the concept of list lacing. By right-clicking on the node, I can find lacing options for first, shortest, longest, and cross product. If I select first, only the first item in my sequence will be generated. To demonstrate the other concepts, I'm going to disconnect the Y input and replace it with the same sequence. By changing the lacing back to longest, I will now generate a diagonal list of points because it is combining both X and Y coordinates. By switching the lacing to cross product, it will generate a grid of points. I'm now going to reset some of my inputs so I have the single list of points along the X-axis. In Dynamo, it is possible to copy and paste an entire selection of nodes. I'm going to Control-C and Control-V this entire selection in order to copy and paste it right below. I now have two sequences of points using the XYZ component. I want the bottom sequence of points to be at a slightly higher elevation. I'm going to copy and paste the number slider and change its value to 5. I'm now going to connect this number into the Z input of the XYZ component. Now that I have two distinct sequences of points, I can connect them together using a line component. I'm going to search for line to create the line component. The line component has a start point input and an end point input. By supplying lists into the start point and end point, I end up with a list of lines. Now that I've created this association between the points and the line, I can go back and adjust some parameters. If I increase the Z height of the second sequence of points, you'll notice that the lines grow taller. If I decrease the number of points in the top list, you'll notice how Dynamo handles the matching of the top and bottom rows by drawing lines from the last point to the remaining points in the second list. This concept is known as data matching. This is a very important concept when you are attempting to relate one list of values or objects to another list of objects.